In today's video, I'm going to talk about what I wish I had known before I started using the terms conscious and waking up. You see, I didn't realize that being conscious was like being flayed and put in a catapult and launched over an ocean full of sharks, only to land and to feel as if I was swimming for my life. I didn't realize that waking up would be so hard. And sometimes you're going to feel isolated. And then other times you're going to feel liberated. And then many times you will feel as if you're trying and it's like churning butter, right? You're trying to figure out, when is it going to work out? When am I going to feel complete? When am I going to ascend? When am I going to feel that conscious fairy come down and just christen me into consciousness? And I have to say, I don't know that that's the intention of consciousness or what it means to wake up. So I want to dive into what could be quote unquote the darker side of waking up, so that you know that you're not alone. Because when I started doing this 20 years ago, I was fumbling. I was falling. I felt like I was failing because as I started growing and moving away from what I was and who I was around, I felt isolated, I felt alone, and I didn't know what to do. So then I became this superficial aspect of the spiritual self, which was empowered by the ego that I still carried with me, that I didn't heal. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and through the course of that, I'm going to give you a couple ways to challenge yourself so that you can start to emancipate yourself. Because one thing that I constantly tell myself is God did not give me a glass ceiling. The amount that you can grow is unlimited. And the funny thing is that the most simple tool, like the mirror, actually means a lot, because it helps you to understand the matrix. It helps you to understand that what you're looking at is not your future. You're looking at a reflection. It is a projection of your past. Even when you get a reading or you do astrology or whatever it is that you want to look at that will help you to gain information and insight, everything is a challenge, but it's up to you to make a choice. I always say this in every video. You are to eat, see, say, do, and listen to 5 factors that you can control yourself. And these things will either help to structure your experience or to make you an enemy to your own self. So one of the things that I wanted to just stress first and foremost is that don't be afraid. Don't allow fear to create this inability that you have to push forward. I've allowed fear to make me hesitant. I've allowed fear to make me not move. And complacency is an illusion. Comfort is an illusion. Meditation in many ways is an illusion because we're constantly in motion. Have you ever heard that phrase that no decision is a decision? Have you ever heard that phrase that no decision is a decision? Well, that's true. So right now, wherever you are on the course of your journey, if it was an accident, if it was a loss of a job or a loved one, maybe it was like this twin flame topic that so many people tie themselves to, maybe it was a soulmate, maybe it was you saw an act of God, you saw some kind of magical being on a hill, maybe you were abducted by a UFO, I don't know. But whatever started you on this journey, mark that as, now it's time for me to move. And you get stagnant. I had a near-death incident at 21. And the thing is that I let that become my story. It was how I expressed every single part of my journey. And when I needed to reflect, I was projecting. So I was taking that moment that happened to me at 21 and it was becoming repetitive in my future, because when I looked in the mirror, and this is mirror work, when I looked in the mirror, when I look into the matrix, what I'm seeing is not the future. So as an exercise, as a side road on this, I want you to go look in the mirror. And when you go look in the mirror, I want you to stop, breathe, and really look at yourself. And I want you to understand that the person that is looking back, that is the culmination of what brought you here. Like in the Bible, that's Lot's wife. So you're looking backwards. It's like when we look up in space, right? So we're seeing the past because the stars travel, the light travels at, like whatever it is, like light years, right? So when you're looking at the stars, you're actually not seeing the sky. We're seeing a sky that's ancient. So when you're looking in the mirror, you're not seeing yourself. You're seeing the result of everything that you've been through. You're seeing the sum total of all the things that you have tied yourself to and that you tell yourself. So the first act, the first identifying act is to begin to talk to the future aspect of yourself in the mirror. Like 6 weeks ago, I weighed 217 pounds, and today I weigh 188 pounds. Now, I'm not bragging about that. I had to lose that weight because I went through the CV virus and got very ill. And 2020 for me was one of the most horrible years I've ever had in a long, long time, as it probably was for you in many ways. So I didn't have a choice because my heart is having issues. It was either do that or face a deeper enemy, right? And always the enemy is generally the enemy inside. So I had to begin to understand that the person that I saw in the mirror wasn't me. It was who I was, not who I am and who I can be. So I started to identify the man in the mirror and remodel that man. I started to see, like when I saw love handles, I said, oh wait, that's where that cheesecake from Thanksgiving lives. That's where that pumpkin pie from Christmas lives. That's where that Chick-fil-A found a space to call home. And then I started thinking, in the course of doing that and telling myself that and telling the different areas of my body, like, hey, you know what? You don't need me to eat that now because you already got it. Why don't you take care of it? I started giving myself permission. My physical form, I was giving it permission from my spiritual throat chakra, my spirit space. I was talking to my body as if it were an employee, as if it were a friend, as if it were somebody that I would love and trust and support. And I think that's the first part of the process. To challenge yourself, to change yourself, you have to understand who you are. One of the biggest things that we don't even know why we want to change, right? Why do you want to change? Who do you want to become? Why would you want to change? Why do you want to get a new job? Why do you want to have love? Why do you want to find somebody? Why do you want to go on vacation? Why do you want to do those things? The idea is, how does it define you? I wanted to lose weight because I don't want to die. I love life, right? I really, really love life. I love looking at the ocean. I like walking around now with my shirt off because I'm not embarrassed because I was body shaming myself silently, even though I'm supposed to be this on my way to enlightenment kind of person. I was encamped in the bashing myself silently, the dark side of spirituality. You see, because shame doesn't leave you. Just because you're awakening, just because you're becoming consciousness, because you're going into ascension and you got guides and I've got guides and I've got God and I've got angels and I've got the same team like everybody else. But I gotta be my own coach. You see, my guides can't go there for me. My angels can't allow me to do it. I have to do it myself. So everybody, like my guides and everybody else, is sitting around kind of like a spectator sending me energy. Well, I've got to take that energy and I've got to inspire myself. So why do you want to change? What is a challenge about? What would you like to accomplish? I wanted to live. And then I go into my 5 points of how I see myself. Eat, see, say, do, and listen to. The 5 things, the 5 factors that I can control. Eat, see, say, do, listen to. Are you eating? Take a temple to the temple. Are you eating for who you want to be, or are you eating for who you are? Are you eating because of what you've been through, or are you eating because what you want to go through? Same thing applies with what are you watching? Are you watching porn? All of us have watched porn at some point in our lives, but it doesn't empower us. Porn doesn't empower us. It placates to our primal urges. It doesn't open up the gift of love. It's not going to help you to find a deeper space of appreciation. And I got news for you guys. Pornography is not going to make you a better lover, right? You know what makes you a better lover? Learning to love. And what better place to start out than right here inside of yourself? And I'm not talking about self-help that's a sickness. I'm not talking about this cyclical cycle of read a book, change your life, read this, read that, do this, do that, program. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when the wheels stop, when the train stops, when everything comes to a screeching halt, when the police officer pulls behind you on the freeway, when the person slams on brakes in front of you, and you find that second when you're like, holy shit. That almost happened. That's who you are. That moment, that almost happened moment, that's here. And that's where we start. And that's when you look in the rearview mirror and you realize going forward isn't about looking backwards. Don't be afraid to look at your life like a banking account. I was afraid for so long to look at my body or my banking account. I know you've been there, right? Hell, some of the most insecure people I know have the lowest body fat, and that's the reason why they do. A lot of the most muscular men I've ever met have the worst concept of their own self. Their confidence is all based on their strength, and when that goes, good God, watch them fall apart. Same thing goes with a pretty girl in school. When she gets overweight, she doesn't know who she really is. So here's the first thing outside of returning to the reflection and changing the direction of that. Let's start to realize that we're not alone in this struggle. Just because somebody hides suffering, or they hide shame, or they hide the blame, or they hide these things about what they really feel, doesn't mean that they don't feel that way. And that's how you step into somebody else's shoes. You begin to see that they're just like me. Right? And that's when we start understanding, do unto others as they would do unto you. You don't, as you would have them do unto you. Right? So, don't be afraid. Fear is not going to help you form a bright future. Take the leap of faith. But remember, once you leap off of the nest, you gotta fly. So, future over comfort. Right? Comfort is a illusionist. Comfort is not something that it really exists because we're always traveling forward. So always keep a little bit of the mind's eye into that forward movement. The other thing is be less reactive so that you can restore balance in your life. So many times I find myself, I overreact. And you know what? A lot of times I overreact on the stupidest, dumbest shit. I'll overreact on something like, I didn't get enough views on this video, I want to quit. Or it'll be something like, wait, that car just cut me off, and then I'll speed up to go cut them off. But I'm overreacting. I'm risking my life to overreact to do what? Life is precious, first and foremost. Recognize that. So let's not overreact. And one of the ways to not overreact that will reestablish balance in your life is to observe before you answer. Think about that for a second. When's the last time you observed before you answered? When's the last time you paused for 3 seconds before you said something that really shut up this situation. Before you tasted your toes, shoving your foot in your mouth, did you ever think about maybe let me observe this before I say something? We're so quick to anger. We're so fast to respond. Even like if you get a text, right? I've sent a text to somebody before and they responded, "What's your problem?" And then went off. It tapped in, it triggered something that was completely on a different level of anger. Why? Because I didn't realize I had all the caps on and they thought I was yelling. But if you looked at what I said, it had nothing to do with yelling. If it did, we would be like on the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, because it was like, yeah, here we go. Oh my God, this is so great. But they didn't see the words, they saw the caps, and they got mad because they were already triggered because they were carrying so much stuff with them. Because when they look in the mirror, it's not clear. It's fogged up because they can't forget what they've been through. Most relationships, the problem with most relationships isn't the person you're in the relationship with. It's the person you brought to the relationship. It's the person inside. It's because you can't let things go. We can't forgive and forget. You don't have to forget. And forgiving doesn't require the other person. Forgiving means that you're going to give yourself another shot. You're going to put all that on pause and you're going to let all that dissipate like the dust that it is. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I'm going to have a funeral for who I was in the past. And I'm going to be who I really am right now. And if that's vulnerable, frickin' hell, that's a victory. So part of the darkness that we're trying to overcome, part of the darkness we're trying to leave behind, we bring with us, and the spiritual aspects and consciousness and awakening will take that and it will turn it up. So you might have thought that you're experiencing shame, blame, and all the bullshit of the past and thinking, well, I'm studying consciousness now, so that'll cancel it out. It actually doesn't. It magnifies it. So be ready. It's going to require a lot of work. And that's one of the things. You have to choose what sets you apart from other people. Hopefully, that you know that your choice and your voice project. All right? Change your thoughts. Change your life. Like Wayne Dyer. Change your thoughts, change your speech, change your life. Your life's not going to change if you don't change how you're speaking to yourself. If you don't make a different choice, your life will stay the same. That's a guarantee. The things around you, imagine for a moment, the things around you don't have to change or shift if you can change. But if you reflect the things around you the entire time and you completely stay oblivious to changing and making a new choice for yourself, nothing's going to happen. Think of yourself as real estate right now. So here I am. I'm an acre of earth. And in this acre of earth, I need to survive and thrive. I want to harvest this acre. So what do I need to do? I got to water it. I got to feed it. I want to plant seeds in it that are going to come forth and give me harvest. That's about who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? How do I see the world? How am I going to integrate into the world? So if I was 1 acre of earth, what are you planting? Are you going to be persistent? You know, a farmer, everybody thinks a farmer is like, oh, blue collar, whatever. I worked on a farm before, and I can tell you one thing, being a farmer is very difficult. You have to do a lot of different jobs, and you have to take on a lot of different roles. You're a nurturer, you're a planter, you're a groundbreaker, you're a caretaker. You are a harvester, you're a marketer. You're so many things within this acre of earth that God gave you. One of the other things that I would like to do is say, if you smile more, do more, and give more, so smile more, do more, and give more, you'll go further. Smiling is a big secret. Smiling is a portal to happiness. Happiness doesn't happen because you read it. Happiness happens because you know that you speak it into being. You establish this little tiny conduit to a portal where happiness is active, right? So I can smile, I can speak, I can do, I can give happiness. I can't hold on to it, but I can generate it Think of it like, have you ever seen those cartoons where they generate the energy ball and they're like, ah, and the energy is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're like, it doesn't stay, right? They'll run out of energy. So imagine that you're developing this happiness ball, this a ball of energy, of happiness, of wholeness, of heart, of green energy, light energy, golden energy, God energy, smiling, loving, holding, happiness, giggling, farting, fantastic, Indiana Jones riding, Disneyland loving energy, and woo! And you throw it and you feel, I felt that. That's how you create a portal to happiness. That's how you start redirecting the reflection that you see every day. So today, we're going to change your life consciously by challenging yourself. You're going to put future over comfort. You're not going to be afraid of your body or your bank account. You're going to empower yourself. You're going to be less reactive. You're going to restore balance. So what you eat, see, say, do, and listen to. You're going to try to use intention, and you're going to try to use action to help redirect some of these things. You're going to, when you feel fear, when you feel negativity, immediately turn it around. I don't care if you have to get on a treadmill to turn it around. If you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, get on a treadmill and start taking it back. Take the hill, right? Plant the flag. This is my future. Bam! I ain't going anywhere. Go forward. Give it all you've got. Move into your future. Move into it. Lean into it. Give it some love. Why do you think relationships die? And like in my book, Putting the Soul Back in Soulmates, I say this over and over and over. Just because you say I do doesn't mean you stop dating. And if you did, no wonder you're getting a divorce. What the hell is wrong with you? Don't you know that it takes work, and work is what will always be? There's never going to be a day when energy is not expended. Are you going to expel your future because you're stuck in the past? The challenge is to replace fear with positivity, to choose happiness with your words and your actions, to smile more, to do more, to give more, and then reestablish every day. Why do I want to wake up? Why do I want to change? And understand the dark side of reality. Labels and logos, they still live in the spiritual community, believe me. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody spiritual, but we're waking up together. Nobody is ahead of us. If they are, they're not here in body anymore. They're beings that come down and they have no physical form. Those beings are ahead of us. But anyone you see on the earth that's in a physical state, they're not vibrating any higher than you could be. You just don't know that yet. You just don't see that beautiful side of you yet, because every time you look in the mirror, you only see where you came from. You don't see where you're going. We suffer because of the woes of the past. We suffer because we can't see the future. We can't see ourselves in the future without using the past as the supply, and that's always going to bring suffering. I'm not going to respect you if you force me to respect you. I can't love you if you're going to force me to do anything. We have to graft ourselves into the future with goodness, with giving, with going forward, with feeling vibrant in love. The other thing is recruit a crew. Recruit a crew. Find a tribe. There's people out there. They'll help you. Why do you think AA is so successful? Not because they have the 12 steps. It's because one of those steps is because you need a sponsor. Find yourself a sponsor. Don't be afraid of a coach. Is it going to cost money? Yeah, it could. But you know what? When I go to the gym, or if I want to learn martial arts, I don't learn martial arts by just moving around the yard going, "Wah!" I have to find somebody that knows what's going to go down and gives me instruction. Then I get that instruction and I'm at a different level. I may not need that anymore and I can do it myself. But if you can't, don't make believe that you can. Don't sit there dangling your feet off the chair because you feel like a child. Move forward and find a person that will help you pivot and coach you to where you need to be. There's no crime in that. Don't be embarrassed because you still blame yourself. Don't feel ashamed because you still feel that spirituality is not sticking. It's a struggle. It's not easy. And anyone that tells you that it's not telling you the truth. I walked and I did ayahuasca. And the day that I went down there to do ayahuasca, I was ready to have everything ripped away from me. My intention was so tight. I was walking a tightrope. And I'll talk about that in a later video, but you can't fail. You just move forward. There's nothing you can do if you're doing everything you can that will prevent you from getting where you want to be. So observe before you answer. And one last thing, in the course of how I started to change my body. So whenever you do this one thing for me. Drink one more glass of water and leave a comment on this video. And if you do, then I'm going to donate $1 for every time that somebody through the course of this has left a comment. And don't get crazy, because if it's one person leaving like 1,000 comments, not going to happen. A different person, one comment. Every original comment in the down below in this video, I will donate $1 to giving water to people that need it. Because water is your miracle liquid. It is a gift. It is a reprogramming tool. When you drink that water, speak to it. Just like they prove that if you speak to a plant, it grows more. Speak to that water and it will carry that message inside of your body. We need to change from the inside out. So what are we going to do? Go to In Deep Shift at Anchor FM and listen to my show there. You're going to get a lot of good stuff. Follow me on social media at Ryan Keys to Life. If you want to work with me, please be willing, because I will work with you, but I don't want to waste your time nor mine. So I'm going to put you into a space where you have to do a lot of work, but you're going to break through. You're going to break free. And then you're not going to be alone. So this is the first part of the challenge to change your life consciously. Hopefully you made it this far. Peace, light, and love, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful night.